Story 1. Last round had callbacks everywhere and offers at my top 3 choices. Know your stuff, but also recognize what you don't know. You'll never walk into a place fully understanding all the processes, and interviewers know that. However, it's good to demonstrate you have good intuition about things. Demonstrate you know the sticking points of a job, such as what's hard or what people don't like to do. Ask questions about how they handle that. It's a bonus if they are cagey about their answer. You might learn they have a bad work culture, or it might provide a place where you can improve processes for them. Treat your interview like a date. Even if you are desperate for a job interview is about you also learning if the employer is a good fit. You don't have to be shy about it, and most interviewers will respect you for considering your own needs. Do some due diligence if you're serious about the job. Look up publicly available information, even if it's just from their website. All of these things will make you seem in control of yourself and therefore professional. You don't have to be perfect, and trying to be perfect will just make you seem nervous. If the hirer wants you to be perfect or nervous, congratulations. They are being unreasonable, and now you know that's the kind of workforce they have. Story 2. Be personable. Maintain eye contact and engage in conversation. If you don't know the answer or lack experience in that area, firstly acknowledge you haven't had much experience in that area and instead describe what you would do. When answering, speak confidently to the person who asked, with brief glances at the other interviewers. Story 3. Go in with the mindset that this is just practice, and that it's okay if they choose someone else. You'll feel much more comfortable in your own skin, and the interviewers will be able to see if you have the right chemistry. Story 4. Prepare by using Glassdoor or Indeed to look up their common questions and have an answer prepared. For any tell me about a story questions, use the STAR format. Answer with the situation, task, action, and result. Have multiple stories ready that can fit a variety of questions. Story 5. Talk about what you have done and what you can do more, and less about who you are and how you describe yourself. Throughout your school career, you're asked to describe yourself as a person and explain your skill set. Good companies will ask you questions that encourage you to tell stories about what you have done and how you can do the same and better for them. So your answers should always reference your experience in a story form more than describing your skill or ability. For example, everyone can say they're organized. Good interviewees explain how they organized something that was disorganized and how it benefited them or their employer. Your curriculum vitae should reflect the same. Don't list skills. List actual performance-based situations where you excelled or made significant improvements. Story 6. Interview them. If you are knowledgeable in the area, you can ask really pointed questions in the flow of the interview. Do not wait until the end. That turn it into a conversation about where they are struggling and how you could potentially help. It turns it into much more of an "is this a fit for both of us?" type of conversation and removes the pressure dynamic of judging, "Are they good enough to work here?" from the equation. Story 7. Here are a few tips, mostly focused around keeping a positive attitude. Be friendly. Convince yourself the interview is going well. If your brain tells you it's going badly, don't believe it. Your brain is full of lies. The interview is going great. Convince yourself you like and get along with the interviewer and vice versa. Smile. Wow, it's like your old friends who've worked together for years. Look at that. Compliment everyone you interview with at least once. Dale Carnegie wasn't wrong when he said people like to hear the sound of their own name. Sprinkle their name in a few times, but don't be weird about it by starting every other sentence with it. Be attractive. Look amazing. Wear an awesome outfit. If you're out of shape, get into even just slightly better shape. It'll do wonders for your confidence. Be smart. Know the challenges of the job better than anyone else. Make it clear you'll have no problem solving their problems. Look at problems from the perspective of the person you're interviewing with. You don't talk about the same things interviewing with an entry-level employee that you would with a vice president. Ask good questions. Think about the questions to get context to get started on your first day on the job, and sprinkle in some questions you'd have if you were interviewing for your boss's job to demonstrate you understand what matters to them. Be kind. Kind and empathetic people just shine through during the interview process. Narcissists and difficult people tend to give themselves up by being a little too egotistical and not focusing enough on how they collaborate to solve problems. Talk up your people's skills and how important relationships are. Hope this helps. Story 8. I interviewed someone who said, that's a really good question, or some version of it after most of my questions. It had a positive effect on me, the interviewer. I've used it myself since and have found that it also gives you some time to think of a good response. Story 9. I am an excellent interviewer, and for nearly a decade now, I've received offers for the majority of jobs I've interviewed for. Go in with the mindset that you are interviewing them as well. Don't worry about whether you get it or not. You are assessing whether it's a good job for you. If they don't want you, that's fine too. This is easier said than done when you need a job, but if you are just looking to job hop, it's much easier. Sit up straight, look at your interviewer in the eyes, and speak with a positive inflection in your voice. I also talk with my hands and body a lot. Speak in long answers. If you get a yes or no question, answer with lots of details. Never speak negatively. Spin everything as a positive. You don't want to seem like someone who has a negative attitude towards your coworkers or aspects of your job you don't like. You're a team player who comes to work with a positive, can-do attitude. If you find yourself in a situation where you have to speak negatively, such as answering, what's an aspect of your current job you dislike, always spin it positively. For example, doing X isn't my favorite, and it can be frustrating at times, but getting in there and doing it anyway has taught me valuable lessons. When they ask you about a time you failed, always discuss how it was a learning opportunity for you. Be knowledgeable about what you are talking about. Don't fabricate information if you don't know something, and be honest. Say, I've not had experience with X, but I'm excited about the opportunity to learn. Or, I've not had experience with X, but I've worked with Y, which is similar in many ways. Speak with confidence and don't be afraid to delve into the details. This shows that you know what you are talking about and that you are excited about the work you do. Come prepared with examples of accomplishments and projects you've worked on to demonstrate your expertise. Prepare questions to ask at the end of the interview, and don't try to improvise. Have several questions ready in case they are answered during the course of the interview. Some questions I like to ask include, what challenges are you looking to solve by hiring for this position? What are your top priorities for me to begin working towards on day one? What is the culture like with this team? I don't like to discuss money, benefits, vacation, or anything like that during the interview. I will ask the recruiter about those things before the interview, but I'm not asking the hiring manager if I can plan a vacation to Tahiti in my second month there. It's irrelevant to the job interview and could plant a negative impression. Get the job offer and then you can discuss those details. I usually have a good sense of whether an interview is going well. I've had interviewers before who were somewhat chilly or even combative. Those wouldn't have been great jobs for me anyway. But when an interview is going really well, it can feel like you're catching up with an old friend. The interview could keep going on, and you'd feel completely at ease. One tip I can provide is to bring a notebook. I bring a leather-bound notebook because it's more professional. You can take notes, such as interviewers' names or details you might want to revisit during the interview or the question and answer portion at the end. I also like to make some general notes for myself before the interview starts, including talking points I want to cover. If I get nervous, I'm liable to forget things, so I make sure to have references in front of me as a sort of cheat sheet. This has never been a problem. Also, bring copies of your resume and cover letter with you in case they don't have their own copies. I've even had an interview once where they invited me based on a resume I'd submitted about 5 years prior, unknown to me, and I ended up getting a higher tier job offer than the one they invited me for because I provided my updated resume during the interview. Story 10. I turn interviews into conversations. Once I get past the initial get-to-know-you phase and detail my experience, I will just talk to the interviewer about the field it is for. I tell stories, both good and bad, because you can detail what you learned from the bad, and they will, in turn, tell stories. People love to talk about themselves. This also gives you an insight into how they operate, but you need to fully pay attention and respond like you would if you were talking to a friend about a hobby. Lastly, I show up early and look presentable. I won't wear a suit to a job that requires me to be outside. but I will throw on my boots and a collared shirt. I also won't show up in sneakers, a band tee, and cargo pants. Also, don't forget that part of getting a job is convincing people that they aren't going to hate spending 40 hours a week with you. Very few people are good enough at what they do that others will tolerate being around them when they are unpleasant. Story 11. I have not had a job interview in a while, but some tips I can give you are to dress professionally but do not overdress, and for the questions, answer with what you think they want to hear but do not tell blatant lies. Also, do not discuss salary or insurance benefits until the final meeting. Story 12. Practice answering common interview questions out loud to yourself or with the help of a friend. This has helped me immensely. It is one thing to have a general answer in your head, but actually being able to gather your thoughts can be difficult, especially when you are nervous. Story 13. First, focus on your resume. Do not simply copy and paste the job description from your current company. Instead, highlight your achievements, such as increased customer satisfaction from 85% to 91%. Second, come prepared with specifics. For example, I achieved this by introducing a new tool that reduced costs and increased the time reps could spend talking with customers. Managers appreciate organization. Discuss how you start your day by reviewing notes from the previous day, create an action item list, and then review this list at the end of the day to ensure completion. Third, when faced with a question like, something happens and you're not sure how to resolve it, what do? The wrong answer is call my boss. The correct answer is to gather stakeholders. Present the issue with both short-term and long-term solutions, and let them decide. Fourth, you must prepare thoughtful questions of your own, not generic ones like, describe your management style. Instead, ask questions such as, assuming I am hired, what are the top 3 issues you would like me to solve? Or, what type of information management systems do you use, and what are some of the challenges? Envision yourself in the role and ask questions related to it. Fifth, maintain eye contact. Smile and shake hands. Thank them for their time with a comment like, I really enjoyed our conversation. Thank you again for taking the time to meet with me. Then, send a follow-up email if possible. Story 14. The same way I get women to like me, I am not trying to be liked, I am likable. I am the kind of person they want to spend time with. I have interests I exercise and I am social. Spending time with me is a treat. I do not do things to trick women into sleeping with me. I genuinely do them, and that translates to others with similar interests looking to spend time with me. It is the same with jobs. I am not trying to convince them that I am a good educator, which is my field. I am a good educator. I know what I am talking about, and questions do not trip me up because I can answer them confidently based on expertise and knowledge. Adding me to your teaching team is a treat. That is the secret. Genuinely be a good person and a good candidate. Know your stuff. Do not be awkward. Merited confidence. Story 15. No joke. This is what I do. Be clean cut. Think of it like this. You are the face of the company, voice or not. Wear a smart-looking suit and always wear a tie. I know younger generations push back on this, but it never hurts and never sell yourself short. For context, I would do this even if I was interviewing for Taco Bell. Drink a Red Bull. I only drink one small can, but I have a good grip on it, and listen to cheesy, upbeat music right before your interview. It puts you in a certain zone and makes me all peppy, happy, and jazzed up, which leads to, be energetic and enthusiastic. There are more than enough drones. In a group of candidates, the one who gets hired will be the one that stands out, showing enthusiasm and the ability to care. If you don't give a care, why should they hire you? Look in your rearview mirror and say to yourself out loud, I am going to go in there and blow their minds. Carry that mentality. Also, bring copies of your resume in a fancy binder. I carry at least 3, one in each fancy folder. Take the initiative to shake hands, lock eyes, and shake their hand palm down. It is a symbol of power. Ditch the cell phone in the trunk along with the earbuds. Don't vape on the property, even in your car. A lot of places have cameras. Always be very polite to the receptionist. I used to be one and would tell the hiring manager if they were rude or demanding. Formally ask for the position and ask if they are on LinkedIn, as you would absolutely love to add them to your network. Go get them. Story 16. Be aware of your weaknesses. A frequently asked question is, what is your biggest weakness? Prepare for it. Don't shout out a weakness that makes you look bad or make something up. Instead, tell them a weakness that you actually have, but which can be turned into an advantage as well. For example, being a perfectionist or being young.